This my two Satoshis. This my two Satoshis. Who need 2 cents when they can get double from stacking Toshis? Yeah. It's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another My Two Satoshis crypto news update. Today we're going to be looking at whether or not Bitcoin is decoupling from the stock market. Is it finally going to make its own run independent of what is going on in the stock market and the Federal Reserve? We're going to look at that today, and I'll give you my two Satoshis on that because we've seen a strong rally off those lows, and I'll correlate what's happening because this is an interesting look at. If we lay these charts over one another, you'll see it looks like it runs in parallel, not to the T, not to the T. You'll see what I mean by that. But we'll take a look at that. In addition to that, we're going to look at some Bitcoin analysts are saying that it will rise to $200,000 in the second half of this year. That is a pretty bold statement, a pretty big move for Bitcoin to reach 200K in the second half of this year. Is it impossible? No, not at all. It all depends, in my opinion, on what the Federal Reserve is going to do. So, hey, if they reverse course and stop raising rates and start increasing that money printing again, then yes, we can get to $250,000 a coin easily. And I'll pull up the stock to flow model that shows us the second half of this year being around $115,000 and not seeing a rise to $200,000 until about 2024. Of course, we could overshoot it like we've done in the past, as you see here. But hey, I just wanted to give you that context and that comparison so you can see where the stock to flow places us. We're currently well below the stock to flow line, but it's not 100%. It's just kind of an indicator of where Bitcoin should be relative to the stock to flow model, which has been pretty accurate over the past years. And of course, we'll take a look at the technicals from my charts because there's some very interesting price action going on right now at the very time of my recording. So I want to show that to you as well to help give you some context. All that on today's episode of My Two Satoshis. Let's get it. Before we start, if you guys find these types of videos informative, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. Well, what do we have here? Bitcoin, the full crypto markets going ham today. I mean, huge gains in the markets. Bitcoin is up 6.2%. ETH is up 5.9%. BNB, I mean, just across the board, we're just gaining. We're making money. Those bags are growing. We should have no complaints, right? Well, yes and no. If you're taking gains in this rally, maybe so. You can lock in some of those gains. Or if you think we're heading higher, that's a possibility. And there's more optimism for another leg up in the markets. Hey, that's what makes up a market. People have different opinions and different time horizons on where things are going. But I want to show you this. This is a very interesting take here. I drew this line about a week and a half ago. But as you see, we haven't made our way back above that trend line. Now it is a fairly steep trend line, but as you see, the price action is showing us that we're having a little trouble getting up there. One thing to mention here, we have breached the top side of the channel, which is slightly bullish on my end, even though my stance in the short run was for us to head lower. And I'll explain why this is not happening, because another part of my thesis is that Bitcoin and the crypto markets are highly correlated to the stock market, and more specifically to tech stocks. So we're going to take a look at the S&P 500, the NASDAQ. I'm going to give you a compare and contrast to Bitcoin's price action and the S&P 500. And you may or may not be shocked at what we see. That's coming up later in the episode. But overall, this is a very strong move off those lows. I'm still looking to see us get above this trend line because we're struggling to get there. As you see here, I had this yellow line that had us stagnant for about a day and a half. We stuck right under that line. I thought we were losing momentum, and then boom, out of nowhere on yesterday, we did see a move up to continue that bullish momentum, but we are bumping up against that original trend line that I said we needed to get back above. Just looking at the price action, I think this is just the bulls trying to really shake out all of those shorts because it's not too organic. It's kind of sputtery, and then we're just getting bursts of buys pushing the market up to try to signal and get us out of that bearish tone. But I'm not convinced just yet. I am personally not convinced just yet. Hey, I'm not bullish or bearish on Bitcoin. I'm just going off of what the charts show me. So it's not about my feelings, ladies and gentlemen, at all. And it shouldn't be for you if you are an active trader. If you're not an active trader, hey, just buy and hold and miss all those great opportunities to dollar cost average in and accumulate more coins. But this is the homepage of CNBC. And you see here, you say, hey, CB, well, S&P 500 is down today, 0.37%. NASDAQ is also down 0.5%. Hey, Bitcoin and the crypto markets don't correlate 1-to-1. So that means every day you won't see a 1-to-1 correlation, a match of price action or percentage gain. It is about a 6.5–7% correlation. That means 70% of the time you're going to see Bitcoin track with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and the broader equities markets in general. So today we're seeing a slight decoupling of Bitcoin and the equity markets, but that doesn't mean that it is not heavily influenced by what the equity markets are doing and subsequently what the Federal Reserve is doing. And I don't go off of emotions, I just go off of data. Let me just show you guys something really quickly. As you see here, again, S&P down today. However, if you take a look at this chart, you see the move up, right? You see the rally, the bounce that we had off that support area from back in October of last year. We bounced off of that and made a strong rally up. And you may ask, like, okay, well, what does that mean? If I zoom in, you'll take a look at this day. It's around January 27th, 28th. That's when it started. Now, if I jump over to the Bitcoin chart, you'll see, what day is this? January 24th, January 26th. That is precisely in the same range, day or two plus or minus, that we saw the equity markets take a move up. So you see the correlation. This area here correlates exactly with the NASDAQ bounce. All right, perfect correlation. Not perfect, but you get what I'm saying. It's a near mirror of what we saw right here. So I say all that to make the point that we are still correlated with the equities markets. Equities bounced off that low January 27th. Bitcoin and cryptos January 24th, a couple of days before. So it still is tracking to show to me we have not decoupled from those equity markets and what the Federal Reserve is doing. So I wouldn't be too excited yet. Now, is there a possibility that the crypto markets decouple? Sure, I just don't see a reason for it to do it, because as CNBC states here, this article is actually from today. It says how Wall Street learned to love Bitcoin. Wall Street loves Bitcoin in the crypto markets. They're putting their risk capital into these new markets. So when you see that, they're taking over. They're taking over the price action. They're influencing the price of Bitcoin in the crypto markets. So where's their primary playground? The equity markets. So if the equities have issues, they're going to take some of those cryptos off the table to maybe add margin or cover some of those losses they're having in the equities markets. That's why we're starting to see that correlation. You have to pay very big attention. I think the equity markets don't think that the Federal Reserve are going to increase interest rates by 50 basis points and we'll take a slower approach and only increase by 25 basis points next month. That is the first rate hike. So it's going to be very interesting, and you should be really following what the equity markets, and more in particular, because this is a crypto channel, what Bitcoin and the crypto markets are going to do after that first 25-point basis rate hike. Or the markets may think it's already priced in. I don't know. I'm not psychic here. I'm just telling you and giving you some of the things to look for and some of the behind the scenes things that are really driving the overall direction for this crypto market. FS Insight says that they believe the crypto markets could surpass a $9.6 trillion market cap if Bitcoin does hit 200K. And they also see Ethereum hitting 12,000 by the end of this year. I mean, again, yes, these are all possible numbers if the stock market increases as well. And to be honest with you, I actually do think by the end of this year, we will see Bitcoin above 100,000, not 200,000, but I think we'll hit that 100K marker for Bitcoin. And man, you can only imagine where the altcoins will be at that point. And the reason why I say this is because I think the Federal Reserve will do maybe 4 rate hikes. So that's 1 rate hike or 2, maybe 2 in March, another 2 in April, and saying, hey, we may stop increasing rates, because just a stop of increasing rates is enough bullish move for me to see the equities move up and Bitcoin move up. I think that is good. Now, if the carnage is so bad, which it could be, we've seen this happen in 2019 with the taper tantrum. If the carnage in the equities markets is so bad, they may go so far as to say we're going to decrease the interest rates, and that is super bullish. But they have to worry about inflation. That's the problem. So they may be backed into a hole or a corner where they have to continually increase rates. And if that's the case, it will not be a good year for cryptos. Flat out. Higher interest rates is not a good environment for cryptos. So this company is actually owned by Fundstrats, which, oh my God, they are one of the worst analysts in the equities markets. So I don't know. I'm not even going to take their predictions with any type of validity, but they're saying that they predict the price of Bitcoin could rally $200,000 to $200,000 in 2022, citing increased inflows from the legacy markets into cryptos. Again, this narrative doesn't work if we're seeing legacy markets pull out of equity markets and go to the side for dry powder. That's normally what happens when the markets get spooked. And that's what I think is going to happen. It's not going to be a move from equities on over to cryptos unless the whole market, both markets are heading higher. Yes, you'll see some spillover then. But if the Federal Reserve can't get a hold of and control this inflation that's happening, then it's done data for 2020 and possibly 2023. We'll see. But again, it's all predicated. And just remember this. I'm not saying that we can't go up, but the only way we can go up in the cryptos is if the equity markets go up too. So that's the basis of Crypto Blood's thesis on the direction of Bitcoin in the crypto markets. Keep that in mind, please. Don't come back to me and say, oh, you said it was going to go down. No, I'm saying I will only be wrong. This is the only way I would say, hey, I was wrong, is if we see a decoupling from Bitcoin and the equity markets. If there's a decoupling, then my theory is completely wrong. Other than that, equities markets go up, Bitcoin goes up. Equity markets go down, Bitcoin goes down. That's what it is, people. And this one out of the Daily Hodl talks about how Bitcoin's correlation to tech stocks, which remember I just talked about, surges amid macro uncertainty. I didn't even see this chart here on this article, but this is a perfect chart to show correlation. So the correlation has been increasing very rapidly since November of last year up till today. We're above a 75% correlation with the NASDAQ 100. That is insane. Literally, guys, that's where you need to look. Follow the money and not the money of these YouTube pump and dumps and influencers and, you know, Michael Saylors of the world and what they're telling you. No, if you really want to know what's going on, you need to follow the NASDAQ. You need to follow the tech stocks. See what's going on there and you'll find out where crypto is going. It's really that simple. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to know. And is Bitcoin really going to decouple this time? Are we in the decoupling phase with Bitcoin? And is Crypto Blood wrong? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe and click that bell to receive more videos like this. I'm out of here. Holla.